reminder. It is inert. It no longer shows any of the mother of pearl funkiness to its surface.
Flint's gonna put his maul over his back and look at the guard, the heavy guard, and the guard in front of him, and he's gonna be like, "Would you please pull them apart? They're gonna try and kill each other."
Give me a. Well, I'm gonna let you call this one. Is this a intimidation or are you persuading someone?
Definitely persuading. I'd put my weapon away. It's not very intimidating.
Okay, give me a persuasion check.
You should be pretty damn intimidating. You can use charisma on that.
Well, I mean, it's the same.
Lucky, what's that thing where somebody near you? Oh, it's just a 1, isn't it?
Yeah, fumbles.
The guard in front of you just kind of gives you a cold stare. Not very interested in being told how to do his job from a member of a very lawless band of magic users.
What about the heavy guard?
Yeah, not with that roll. We'll just say heavy guard is delegating everything until he has to do something himself. So you made your gesture. You don't get the sense that it landed quite as sweetly as you wanted it to. That was your action.
Just don't know. So do I have enough movement to get over here? I don't. Did you say it was doubled?
Over where?
Over here.
Oh, yeah, you haven't used any movement.
Yeah, so that
You've
would
got,
take
what,
your full
25?
25 to get there.
Okay.
Oh, through... Yeah, okay. But yes, you can move there.
I mean, the only thing I can really do is, like, try to, like, put my arms in front of all of them.
So what's the intent?
To stop the fighting.
No, I mean, like, physically, what do you... Actually, hold on one sec, guys. I gotta help bring some dogs in.
Okay.
It's okay. Got some extra hands. One sec. Daddy, come here. Where's Sophie?
She's still in the bed downstairs. I think she's heavier than the partner.
Oh, okay. I'll bring her up.
Okay.
One sec.
I'll try and keep Addie. Okay. I'll be right back.
Oops, sorry. Okay.
Did I not allowed to leave Sophie and
Yep.
talk if you
No, she is heavier than a milk carton. Sure. My dogs go to sleep. There we go.
Hello.
I am now joined by the dogs that continue to haunt you guys everywhere in your campaign.
My God.
Okay, so are you moving through your party?
Yep.
So, I guess the reason I was asking your intent earlier, that's your movement.
Hmm.
Oh, and never mind. You spent your action trying to make the gesture and persuade people.
Or if you
so
wanted
that's
to
fine.
move further, technically you could go down behind Lucky and over and not double have to double.
Oh, so like from here to here.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot of places to be other than stopping these guys from fighting and stopping Blaskin from about to explode.
So 5, 10, 15, you would have enough movement to like body tackle Will.
I guess.
He already used his action though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So either way, you end up here. Let's just say that in the most efficient path possible, using your dwarven logistical techniques, you still have 10 feet of movement to do something if you want to.
I'm about to tackle Will.
Well, hang on a sec.
That's
You
a
don't even know
movement.
what Will's gonna do.
He's about to. We'll see what Will's about to do.
I know what he's gonna do.
Actually, Will was gonna do something.
He's not going to
that
walk
I'm
up a
sure-
wall.
I'm
That's
sure
for damn
was gonna
sure.
surprise you all, but it was gonna be really cool. If this is what ends up happening, though, then so be it.
It's your turn, Will. You tell us what you do.
Oh, perfect. What kind of weapon is this guard in front of me wielding?
He's got a long sword and a short sword out. So left, right hand.
I would like to attack the weapons directly to try and force them out of his hand.
A disarming attack?
Yes. So is that like a strength check kind of thing, or do I still make the attack against him?
You know what? I'm going to do a really quick check. Bradley, how have you had to weigh in on this before?
Because, I mean, a sword doesn't have AC.
No, I'm looking up real quick, see if there's anything that says, because I think that's kind of a, let's see, new DM creature.
That's a battle master maneuver?
That's knocking a creature out. Disarming optional rules variant. A creature can use one of their weapon attacks to knock a weapon or object from the target's grasp. The attacker makes an attack roll contested by the target's athletics check or acrobatics check. If the attacker wins the contest, the attacker causes no damage and the defender drops the item. Modifiers. The attacker has disadvantage if the target is holding the item with 2 or more hands. The target has advantage.
Or more.
Yeah, the target has advantage if it is larger than the attacking creature, or disadvantage if smaller.
Okay,
Here's another one.
I'm good enough with some of that.
Yeah, for every 5
So-
points higher than the defender's ability check, the attacker may send the item flying to land in a space 5 foot from the target. If the weapon object lands in the same space as the defender, either creature can use their reaction to try to catch the object with acrobatics check DC 10 plus base damage die, and if both parties try to catch the object, the higher successful roll wins.
Okay, so Will,
Yes.
if you want to attack to disarm, you can roll an attack roll with the weapon you want to use.
Okay.
Tell me which weapon you are trying to disarm, and then your opponent is going to roll a athletics check to maintain control of their weapon.
Okay. I just tell you which weapon I choose to attack.
Well, just so I know if you win, which one gets disarmed.
Okay, the longsword.
Okay, so you're aiming for the longsword.
Mm-hmm. So
Go ahead and make your attack roll. Yep.
Okay.
Against the character.
And technically, do I get to? You know, I'll just say let's go ahead and start with the first attack because I do have the.
Nice roll.
Thank you. Take that, guard 33.
All right, guard 33. How's your athletics?
At DC 27 check.
Yeah, that's easy. He'll make that no problem.
You beat him by 9.
Ooh, that was close.
His Okay, we're gonna go revisit some basic math later.
Was his roll? Yeah, was his roll as good as mine, but his bonus was not?
No, his roll and his bonus were both worse than yours.
Oh, okay.
So if it's 9, that's only one 5-point modifier, so you can send it 5 foot away from him.
Yeah. So his sword lands over there.
All right. Now, does that
Tim?
mean I get to make, does that mean I get
It's
to make
Tim.
another attack against his?
Yeah, you
So
can. You have more attacks. If you're still trying to
Yes.
disarm him, you could just be
I
like,
attack his other sword.
go for it. Okay.
Not
So-
as,
so
not
that's
as
a
good,
19.
but still decent.
Oh no. He almost critted. He holds a death grip on that short sword. I mean, it's a much smaller,
That's okay.
stouter weapon. So your second attack just clangs hard, kind of reverberates into your wrists a little bit. But
Okay.
he's got a strong grip on that.
Then I bring down the final strike. I bring Red Dawn above my head, and I bring it slamming down on his blade.
Nice.
Oh. All right, let's see how he rolls. He's gonna have to crit to beat you. No, that was an 8.
No crit.
So how many
denied.
5?
Okay, so you almost beat him by 20.
So that sends it like
Damn.
20 foot away.
Will, I am going to give you the choice of flavor here. You
Okay.
beat him enough that you could catch his weapon, or you could send it far away, or you could direct it in a particular angle. The final blow coming from Red Dawn towards his other weapon, how would you like that to resolve?
Honestly, I would like to cleave through the weapon. I'd like to be like, this is a shitty sword. Just
Break it.
cleave through it. Is that
okay,
is
yeah.
that within my flavor?
It is.
All right. Then
By
I
that much of a
bring-
gap?
Yeah, I bring Red Dawn above my head and full strength, bring it right down on him. He tries to block me, and I just cleave straight through the blade.
Awesome. So the way this played out, then you first swung in with Red Dawn in your dominant hand and just batted the longsword out of his hand entirely. He was just not expecting he was guarding for body blows and was not expecting the specific like hilt attack, and that goes just like spanging out of his hand and lands nearby. He then kind of resolves as he reacts to that and holds the other sword intently, and your first hit just kind of hammers him down a little bit, but he's just gritting his teeth and holding onto the other blade. And then as you come back around with Red Dawn, you just like smash into the bottom of the blade right at the hilt, and your swing cleaves straight through the shoddily made rapidly manufactured steel of his short sword, and he's basically left holding in a aching palm, left holding a brass knuckle essentially, because all he's got left is the hilt, with a little bit of shock to his face.
And before I pass my turn on, I say to him, I say to him one more time, I'll give you a second chance to surrender, but this is your last.
I'll give you an intimidation roll on that one.
Oh, all right. Skills. Intimidate. +1. 20.
Pretty solid. I guess it's better than a 10, I guess.
Well, that wasn't a good roll.
Is anybody else intimidated by this?
I'm gonna say no, just because you guys had
Okay.
like a specific little like sub context going. You were the
Okay.
most heated combat of this entire like everyone else is shouting not to fight or moving around or just getting people out of the way.
And then just all
You
of a
two are
sudden-
just like stab,
Yeah.
stab, stab, stab.
And then just all of a sudden, everyone's like shouting, and there's just the steel shattering.
No, this is that cool moment in most like action movies where suddenly the weapons have just been like you just re-leveled the playing field. Like, well, sword's over there and the other one's broken. What now?
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
he's clutching his hand like the one that was still holding the sword that you cleaved through. There was such tension in the metal shear that his wrist is now aching, and you see him. He's bleeding from multiple locations. As enraged as he is with everything going on, I think there's a little bit of that creeping into his brain of the primal. I need to do something to stay alive, and just he doesn't even acknowledge your question, but just there's a direct look back to you, and that's as much answer as he gives you.
Then my turn is complete. Oh, do I need to press the button? Hang on.
I can.
Okay, thank you.
It's right
It's
here.
Tony's turn next anyway, so I'm still up.
Apples is still scanning the area, hasn't gotten any new information. Tony's turn is up.
All right. I guess Tony. Nobody's attacked Tony, well, except for Flint. But nobody has attacked Tony. No one's done anything. Tony's gonna move over. She's gonna kind of stay in cover behind Lucky, Brashear, and Flint. And I guess she'll just stay defensive. If somebody makes a move for her, then that's kind of it. Because she, as far as she can tell, her magic's still no good at this point. So
When she moves behind Brashear, she gets an additional kind of gasp. That same subconscious kind of clean air feeling.
Oh. Well then. You know what? Tony's going to change her mind. She's going to use Blaskin's favorite move on Guard 9. Hold person.
Why are we doing anything?
Because I want to. Does it work?
He succeeds. Wow, he
Damn.
rolled high.
Yeah, he did.
That's a wise guard. He's like a 80-year-old hiding inside his armor.
Well,
The spell works. Or I'm sorry, the
it's just not
spell
strong enough.
executes, but the will of her target
It's too great.
resists the effect. All right, comes back around to the top. Meaning we get a little more dialogue with our Chancellor. Little one with the sausage. Can you... Half of your crew is still trying to harm my guards. What... Why did you come here? Heavy's gonna continue just like maintaining his guarding silence, which it then like flies back right to you, Lucky.
I'm just like, please call off your guard so we can just speak.
I need one more persuasion roll from you.
Make it a good one.
Can I help him out, please?
Oh, that's so polite.
Do you get to re-roll ones?
Yes, I do. That's halflings just get that as an innate.
Try again.
Sweet. And I rolled a 2.
No, it's better than that.
It was a 3.
You hear... Pull back! Just keep them at bay. We need to listen for a moment. We may learn something. Did you want to do any bonus actions?
Oh, I'm just trying to bring calm to this so we can actually like have dialogue instead of combat.
Okay. Guard 16. Guard 12 is happy he hasn't had to do anything. Guard 33, how do you... Oh, right, and also because you've... yeah, okay. Will, the guard in front of you kind of crumpled down in holding a couple wounds and with no weapon to really speak of, drops the hilt of the sword that you have cleaved straight through and just puts his hands up. And makes no more, combative stance or threatening action towards you. Blaskin. Let me check his notes real quick about what he told me, how he would like to play things, so I don't cost him too much of his character.
That's very thoughtful of you, Brandon. What a great DM. I know I say that and it sounds a little bit sarcastic, but I want you to know that I mean absolutely no sarcasm when I say that.
AFK for a drink.
Let me move some of this shit around.
Was that
Yeah,
him
he's-
saying AFK?
I think he said getting a drink, yeah.
Okay. I lost a
Hey,
little
good
bit.
news though. My
Is-
computer is finally...
Oh, good. You
Working.
can join us next week. Oh. So, interesting little bit of information. Blaskin shoves past the guard, moving 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, moving in like a weird serpentine pattern around the outer columns in a intent path towards the throne. You also see him start to glow with that familiar poisonous drip from the fangs and the claws.
Is this like Blaskin's like war face? Is his eyes red?
They're deep black.
Are we still stuck in like has initiative ended, or because since these guys are surrendering, are we still in initiative?
We're still in fight time.
Shit.
Oh shit, we just got raided.
Oh no!
Nice. Welcome.
What's up, internet?
Thanks, Dustin.
So
37 people.
Bradley, as you're coming back, Blaskin, your resident construct, had shoved past the guard that was still kind of in combat with him, splayed out his familiar kind of green dripping claws and fangs. His eyes, no kind of familiar color, they're just a dead black, and he is making an intent charge toward the throne.
Wonderful.
Oh, and actually, as he rounds that column, the green completely fades. He's still moving, but the magic that he had equipped completely fizzles. You've got a rogue bot on your hands, guys. Anyway. Oh, that was his turn. Guard 48 is not a thing. Never mind, I didn't say that.
I don't know who this guard 48 is, but he better get the fuck out of here before I break his sword too.
Let's see. Brashear rolls low. Brashear is just old, guys. His rolls don't work that well.
Wait a minute.
What?
His what doesn't work well?
Spells.
Rolls?
That too. I mean, he has to have good rolls for his spells, but if his rolls fail, then his spells also fail. So I'm not wrong. I'm just not totally right.
I don't know what I missed. Okay, so that check doesn't work that well. However, Will's threat has kind of put up his hands, so let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Brashear is going to shove through your space, Flint, and right past you, and kind of curve quickly around the column that Blaskin had just passed, and go for a dive to tackle him. So we're going to have, I think, an athletics roll-off. Let's see. Brashear's athletics...
Is he gonna like cling to him?
He's just doing a diving tackle, honestly. As he moves through your space and then straight kind of around the column, he kind of fluidly sheaths the longsword that he had out in a defensive stance and continues to book in a very intent pursuit towards the construct. Banks at a bit of an angle around the column and then dives. So his ability score for athletics, let's drop that. Okay, that's not bad. But Blaskin's counter roll. Oh no, he also has a bonus. one of those DM moments. Does not roll nearly as well. So Brashear takes Blaskin tackling to the ground. A very kind of monotone voice coming from Blaskin of resistance and frustration, and just this bizarre angst that you've never heard out of his voice.
Does he say
while-
"Viva la Revolution"? Oh wait, no, is that French or is that Spanish? That's Spanish, isn't it? Never mind.
I don't think it was either.
It's kind of a shitty accent of whatever it was.
God damn it.
That was more. I think that was Southern Californian.
All right.
At any rate,
He's a critic.
I just love giving you shit. At any rate, he does try his best to pin the construct down to the ground in a reduction of threat with his less than spry young form. But the two of them are effectively like here for purposes of map location. But that is Brashear's turn. Guard 9's cool because now Brashear has him pinned. So Flint, it comes back to you.
I will also have an oh shit moment, and I will run over to Blaskin while he's tackled onto the ground, and I go, come on, Blaskin. Come on. They don't hate you. They're just afraid of you. Come on. You don't have to do this. Don't make them hate you.
Dang. His notes didn't help me solve this particular problem.
All combat notes, huh?
He needs true love's first kiss. Or is it just true
No,
love's
they're-
kiss? I don't know if it's
I've
first
just got these character development notes, and I think he's in a crux right now, and man, do I not want to steal that from him as a player.
Yeah, it's for those watching. We're down 2 players tonight, so the GM's got like multiple NPCs as players, and one of our other players has another character.
Our Warforged here, Blaskin Greenheart, gave me some notes on what he would do in combat, and now that we have reached a non-combat moment, I'm a little bit out of ammo.
Hit his off button.
What's that?
That hit his off button and just turn him off.
Flint, roll me a persuasion roll. Okay. You in your scramble, like you kind of slide down to your knees and reach out and put a hand on his shoulder, pauldron, whatever that kind of weird armor
mossy
body is, and kind of speak some words of encouragement. You see the deep black, like the bizarrely like anti-colored. It's like a lack of energy for some reason. It's not even like there isn't any reflection coming off of his eyes right now. A dull, like bluish green starts to glow back. Nowhere near the full intensity that he normally has in his visage, but it's just this tiny glimmer of awareness and consciousness, and you see a little bit of his physicality relax, and just he stays prone. He's still being held down by Brashear, but there isn't any tension left in the form. The puppet has just kind of relaxed the strings, so to speak.
Is that the end of combat?
Well, that was the end of your action.
I'm dead. I mean, I don't have really anything else to do. I
Will's
guess
next
that
turn,
was
so it may
my
not be
turn.
the end of combat.
So, Will, Guard 33 kind of made a gesture of relinquishing attack on you, dropped the hilt of what was left of his short sword.
I take this as a sign of weakness and I kill him.
I mean, yeah, I never know what Will's gonna do.
Yes, Anakin.
I pants him.
Strike him down. Join me.
Just pulls the hood
Be one
down.
with the Sith.
Do it.
Do it. Any other? So nobody else looks aggressive at this point. Nobody else is fighting. Everyone else is calming down or stepping back.
I'm checking the map. Yeah, there's no visible threat.
Okay. And Blaskin looks like he's been contained.
Do you want to give me a quick perception roll? You're at a bit of a
Yes,
disadvantage
because
on
Will-
line of sight.
Yes. Well, and that's kind of why I'm. Oh, hang on. God damn it. Hang on.
I'll give you this as your bonus, just because it's kind of a quick scan.
Yeah, my not trackpad. My mouse is not working for a moment. I have that. So I have that cover on since I'm using the Surface. I have the cover that doubles as a. Uh-oh. Why did you close? Hang on. It thought I was trying to tell it to go to sleep. There we go.
For those of you
Alright.
that rated the channel, our resident ranger decided to reassemble his PC tonight and is playing on a backup laptop.
Yes, this has been a 7 hours. I'm 45% back, restoring my backup. You said, what did you say? I was doing perception.
Yes, a quick perception.
All
roll.
right.
A quick one.
Did I? Yeah, I know. I
We've
really
already
don't-
passed that threshold.
Come on. God damn it, is it not
you-
rolling? Oh, okay.
Alright.
Take the first one.
Take the
Oh
first
man,
one.
take the second one. I said that before I saw what the second one was.
You don't get any additional stuff happened in the periphery of your vision. You know, bodies landed on the floor. That's about
Okay.
as much information as you have to work with.
I heard a thud, not as cool as steel
Listen, I'm
shattering.
gonna throw out
but okay.
2 rolls. Just take the best one.
All right. Yeah, exactly. You know what? Let me throw in a third roll just to make things a little crazy.
I'll ignore that one too.
How far can I estimate the footage between me and the Chancellor?
Something between 20 and 50 feet.
All right. I would like to. I'd like to. Let's see. I don't know why I said it. I have a fucking map here. I'm stupid.
No metagaming.
Fair enough.
There's a guard between you and the Chancellor.
Yeah, I know.
The
According
guy
to the
that
map.
just went crazy right off the bat, wanting to approach the throne there.
It's the other person in the party that someone needs to body tackle.
Is that his sword that's right there? Is that what? is
Yes,
laying
that
in
was
his-
the that was a token that I added for the one you
That's
knocked out
Tim.
of his hand.
Okay, I'd like my action to be to kick that further away, and that'll be it.
Cool. Where
So
do you
I'd
want
like-
to kick it?
I'd like to basically kind of like take
Please
my
say
foot.
towards the Chancellor.
No, I'm gonna take my foot. I'm gonna like slide it back.
Boing.
I'm gonna slide it back towards me with my foot, and then I'm gonna kick it behind me, like over kind of towards like the side of this hall.
Sure. Give me a quick athletics roll.
Damn,
Athletic.
too bad I used my 1 already.
He trips and falls on it.
That's good enough. You basically, so the sword that was off to the side, you reach out with your 5 feet leg reach and kick the
Listen, I
sword
moved.
back toward the planter. This is why you come raid this channel, guys, because someone's kicking swords in various directions.
Well, they missed when I shattered his other sword.
That was cool. I loved that roll.
Thank you. And yeah, I'll just kind of keep my eye on him, and I'll keep my eye on these other two. What's Heavy Guard looking like? Is he looking at me, or is he looking at someone else?
He's looking pretty middle management.
Okay.
He's watching his 2 guards. He's very
Okay.
disappointed in the one in front of you.
Yeah, I would be disappointed too. He should definitely get demoted.
He's not angry.
Uh,
He's just disappointed.
Honestly, Heavy Guard kind of seems like, maybe he's not doing his job very well either. I mean, clearly, this leadership starts from the top, and Will is disappointed in Heavy Guard and in Little Guard too. So
They'll make some notes internally.
that's good.
Hmm.
Yeah, they should always seek to improve and be better.
Okay. I think at this point we fall out of combat time. So
Awesome.
Thank you. If you would, I know you have an issue with magic, but my friend here is a priest of divine power. Would you allow us to attend to your guard that's injured, to heal his wounds?
The chancellor kind of waves the guard in front of him off so that he has a direct line of sight to you, and leans heavily on his knee with one elbow. We have recently decreed that even the divine magics are not to be used by those of us here in Shale Point as part of this movement. We have medicine, we have poultices to see to his wounds. I would appreciate if she not touch the divine in this regard. And he just
We
gives
have
you a
bandages.
dead stare.
May we apply bandages? And I look at the guard. I'm like, can we tend your wound?
I mean, the guard's on the floor, like...
Yeah, I turn and look at Tony. I'm like, help the man.
Help the man.
Tony, you want to roll a medicine check?
Tony.
Tony is also being played by Nick.
Yes. Where did I put her character sheet? It's behind mine.
You know those nights when half your party isn't there, but the rest of them are like,
No.
I'll
To
play
be-
multiple people.
To be fair, she was supposed to be here. She just fell asleep. You said medicine check, right?
Yes, please.
It's also amazing
Okay.
when the character who's playing that, and that's his girlfriend, always keeps him healed as well.
It's crazy.
Weird!
Listen, she hasn't healed me in a while now.
She hasn't healed you anytime she played herself.
She didn't heal me this round. She didn't heal me probably the last time that I played her either.
I said she hasn't healed you when she played herself.
Yeah, I know. I know what you said. I'm ignoring what you
Okay.
said and instead focusing on what I said.
I reject your comment and insert my own.
Exactly.
Tony rolled really well.
Yeah.
She quickly dives in and wraps a couple. Not even like she just whips out some quick adhesive bandage rolls that they maintained at the monastery from her pack. Hit some of the key locations that seem to be the the deepest bleeds, staunches those wounds, and just kind of gives the guard a couple pats, since she was never involved in any of the wounding. Um, Mutters a quick prayer, and it just kind of lays him back a bit to relax on the stone under the carpet there. Um, but yeah, that makes a significant difference. Significant difference in his ability to heal afterwards.
Will's actually extremely pissed off with what the Chancellor just said, by the way. And
Which
he would like to, while this is all going on, he would like to just take like 1 or 2 steps forward, nothing threatening. Kind of just like almost meander a couple steps forward.
as you make any direction toward the throne, the heavy guard that's been watching everybody just directly like shows up in your path.
And I call out to the Chancellor. How long has this movement been going on, Your Chancellorcy?
Movements happen fast. Why do you care?
And how long has this world
I think
No,
I lost
that
you
was it.
after.
No, yeah, no, sorry. I said I kind of I might have enunciated that poorly. And I say, and how about how long has how long has the world existed?
Speaking in riddles isn't going to get you any more favors. What do you mean?
What I mean is that you seek to control that which cannot be controlled. The world was created and inhabited by the gods. Their divine powers, including magic, bestowed upon the world. It is an integral part of the world. Yet you seek to disrupt that. You seek to control something that you yourself have said no mortal should control. Do you not understand the hypocrisy of what you've said, Chancellor?
The divine use their power to create the world. We mortals abuse their power to disrupt the world. Our movement is to keep things in line with the divine's plan from the origin.
So you speak with the divine. You know what they wish.
We're here.
Who was the last divine you spoke with, Chancellor?
He starts to look across the rest of your group. Does anyone with a wiser tongue speak for any of you, or do I throw you all in the cells?
Yeah, well, there's some valid points to what he's saying. That's not why we're here. We're actually looking for someone. We don't want trouble in your town. We just want to find somebody and move on. And I kind of give Will a look like, come on, shut the fuck up. Let's get to business.
I completely ignore Lucky, and I'm just staring at the Chancellor.
While there may be some, the man that was here earlier may be your confidant or whatever, there's more to him you should look into. We've known him from other cities, and he causes trouble, but that's neither here nor there. We're looking for someone. If we could have help, the sooner we find them, the sooner we can leave your town.
The whole time I'm just over here, like, murmuring to Blaskin, like, "Come on, it's me, your buddy. You know, the Hammer of the Mountain. Come on, I need you to come back."
Nothing so far from Blaskin. It's still just kind of that dull, stalling 12%. Meanwhile, the Chancellor... I'll not have any harsh words against my advisor. He's been key in making all of this change possible. A movement has to start from somewhere. We're starting it here.
Agreed.
And
There are
we
no
will
harsh
move
words about
out.
him, just words of caution for you and your people. And again, we are looking for someone, and the sooner we find them, the sooner we can leave your city in peace.
Well, tell me who you're looking for. Much rather have you out of here entirely.
And like, Bashir, can you explain better? I know who we're looking for, but you know them personally.
Brashear climbs up off of Blaskin's construct form, recognizing that there is less resistance in his physicality. Brushes himself off, tries to maintain a bit of a dignified pose, and walks back to the center of the hall's carpet and addresses the Chancellor with his hands behind his back. And a bit of a bow. Your Chancellorship, we have a common... well, no, not common. Sometimes the DM has not scripted what I'm about to say.
Bashir, you're speaking in the fourth person.
Shut up, Deadpool. Your Chancellorship, we have a peer that has seemed to have disappeared in this region that we came looking for. Perhaps you have met her or heard of her passing in this area. One Ariel Diletto, a prominent... I regret to say this, a prominent arcane scholar from regions distant, and continues to give a little bit of her physical description, the dark long hair, the commonly kind of amber-colored garb, and as he describes the aged staff with the amber stone at its hilt, several of you start to see like flashes of what's the word I'm looking for? Recognizing? I don't know. There's a familiarity that comes to his eyes as he describes the staff she carries, and that is quickly kind of... it's like a poker face fail. You catch a little bits of, and then back to his normal countenance, and he listens to the rest of the description. We've handled many people who come through these parts wielding magics that we don't appreciate, and our rules in this region are final. I don't exactly know what to do with the lot of you, given... and he points over towards Blaskin's prone form. Bringing something like that into Shale Point, local rules say none of you will ever leave.
We didn't create
Why
him
should I let any of you walk out of this chamber right now?
because the thing, and I use like an air quotes that you're pointing at, is a sentient being created by the divine. He's not a construct of ours. While he is metal and wood, he is a sentient being created and given life by nature.
He retreats.
Look at his actions. The emotion that was shown, that's sentience.
I saw primal damage, rage.
Those are emotions.
Who creates such a thing?
The gods. He
Or
is
the friend.
by practice a priest of nature. He communes with the woodland beings. You can't
A
get
priest of nature acts like that?
when threatened.
Do
Give me
you
a
believe
persuasion roll.
yourself above these emotions, Chancellor?
Emotions as such, extreme nature, is from sentience. Arcane constructs follow strict guidelines and orders they are given.
Lucky, roll me a persuasion with advantage. It's funny, you watch him kind of list to the left, like he's ready to, I don't know, get some kind of input, and just sits there and then blinks a couple times, staring at you. What do you want with this Delesso person?
I just look to Will and Brashear.
I mean, I
Brashear
guess.
gives you
Yeah,
first pass.
All right. We wish to find her, and that might be a little too is that too aggressive? Too passive aggressive? You know, Will's already made his mind now. He's gonna say, We wish to find her, and we wish to leave this blasted place."
You wish to find her and then go?
Yes, Chancellor.
I believe she is friends of my companions here. We from family ties or whatever it is, but we just want to find her and leave this area. We leave your town in peace. We want no harm, no conflict. We came from, I can't remember the name of Flint's town.
Dunmore.
Yeah, we come from Dunmore. We wish to just leave and return, but with our friend.
Wait, you want to take her out of here?
Yes.
Well, that's what y'all want, isn't it? I look at Brashear and Will. Because I don't remember their story. Do they just need to talk to her about something?
Brashear shoves into a little bit of the conversation. We would really honestly prefer if she also came with us, as opposed to just meeting her, and he gives Will, like, the evil side eye.
That's what I said. We'll find her, and then we'll leave. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I get what you mean now, Brashear.
Yes, we'll leave, and she will come with
Ah,
us.
I see what I've said.
Your friend is currently in the cells of this manor for breaking the rules of Windhold, for staining the clean arcane space of these high steps. I can't maintain control of this space if I let clear violators of our rules walk out of this manor. You're asking quite a high price.
Would that not be removing a problem of your city and taking it away where it could never be a problem again?
I'd
Oh,
also like
we've-
to interject. We would actually be doing you a service. You see, you're currently you're holding her here. It's taking time, it's taking effort, it's taking money from you and your people, having to keep her held here. We'll take her away, and you can focus on other things. You can focus on finding other people and putting other people in those cells.
Or do you plan on killing her? You put those that use the arcane to death? If not, then that's a drain on your people for the food, the time. We would be doing you a favor by removing such a threat and stain on your establishment.
Don't think of it as letting her free. Think of it as putting her under new management.
Will, go ahead and roll the persuasion check with advantage. Because you've got Lucky backing you up.
Yeah. You said advantage?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Persuasion. Ooh, just a +1.
The Chancellor kind of gets a wry grin on his face. Oh, don't worry. They're not a problem here. And they only linger as long as they need to. Just like you might.
Then she needs linger no longer, Chancellor. Free her to us, and we shall leave this moment.
Or maybe we just need to speak with her. And I look at Brashear like kind of that, is that good enough? Or at least a step, maybe, a step forward.
Brashear looks back towards you, and you get this intent, very furious, but very kind of restricted movement, like rapid nod, trying not to make too much of a scene of it.
Yes, can we at least speak with her? Even if we can't take her and follow your rules, can we at least speak with the lady?
He pauses for a moment and looks to his left and then looks back to
We'll leave our weapons
his lap.
here.
He glances across to the heavy guard and then the guard that's been like right by his side. Secure their arms. They get 5 minutes. Second tier of the cells. And then they're gone. That's all you get.
Thank you, sir.
The heavy guard quickly kind of ushers you all over to the side of the common room that you're in, and requests any and all weapons be placed on a side table. with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 other guards backing up his request.
Lay my quarterstaff on the table.
I'll be carrying Blaskin, and I'll drop our weapons on the table. I mean, if
I thought you were
Blaskin's
going to
not
say I
walking,
would drop Blaskin on the table.
no. If he's not walking, he seems to be in a boot up sequence. I just figured he wouldn't be moving too much.
No, he still moves under his own power. It was
okay.
in his prone form. He basically just stopped tensing whatever fibrile matter was his muscles.
Okay,
So he went from a raging tensed form to just a form. So does everyone put whatever weapons they had equipped in the lurch?
Will take his longbow. He'll take his longbow, lay that out. He'll sheath his. Well, he'll actually. He won't sheath. He'll lay his swords down, and he'll look at the heavy guard, and he'll say, "These better be right where I put them, or your guard's sword won't be the only thing shattering today."
The poetic quip kind of flies over his head a bit. So you get kind of a...
And then I guess Tony puts down her mace. Oh, she also has a huge ass Apparently, she has or is it huge? She has a crossbow. I don't know if it's noticeable or not. If she has the crossbow, if the crossbow is noticeable, she puts it down. If not, then she doesn't bother.
It's noticeable. It's a crossbow.
Yeah. That's
all right.
I'm imagining she's been carrying like this giant anime-esque huge crossbow. She's had that the whole time.
It's kind of like Jack Sparrow from the first Pirates of the Caribbean. She's only got one shot, and it's for one person in particular.
Fine. Okay. So if no one else has any qualms, various arms and armaments, magical or otherwise, are laid on the table.
Are we really gonna just leave? I want to talk to the group real quick, like in just between us.
Yeah, it's your party, dude.
Are we just gonna leave all our weapons here and leave no one to watch them? Are we all literally gonna go into the cells unarmed?
How important is it talking to this lady to you? We're not
Well, I
have a
could
choice.
stay back and watch them if you'd really like.
Would maybe you and Blaskin watch them? Is that enough? Is that good? Can you watch Blaskin?
I suppose.
I'm sitting here thinking, do you want him to watch Blaskin or do you want him to watch the weapons?
What do you want? Like,
Blaskin,
you have Blaskin
what are you talking
and Tony
about?
could
Blaskin is
stay
a weapon.
there.
Blaskin will lay across the weapons.
Yeah, Blaskin is a weapon. Blaskin gets placed on the table.
Guess you could say
No, man, it's
all the players who aren't
you
here,
guys.
Blaskin and Tony could stay there and watch.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Blaskin and Tony. Flint, are you gonna stay too, or are you gonna go with us? I see. Will wants to stay, but at the same time, he really wants to meet her because this is someone who knew his father when his father was alive. So
Which Will doesn't tell people.
Will is emotionally invested in this.
I just tell you how the world reacts. You tell me what you guys are
Does Bashir
doing.
put his weapons down easily, or?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know both of them have special swords, so I don't know how he would feel.
Bashir. Let me double check his sheet. That's not Bashir. That's Blaskin. There he is. Brashear kind of takes a moment. He unbuckles the sheath that holds his longsword to his hip, and he holds it out and just kind of takes a pause, staring into the pommel, and closes his eyes and holds it to his chest and just mutters something under his breath that you can't quite catch. And then puts the entire kit down on the table. And then looks back to Will.
I do this. I follow kind of what he did. I try to do the same thing. I take Red Dawn. I hold it up to my my face, and I whisper to it. I don't know what I'm supposed to say, so just stay safe. And then I place it right next to Brashear's, and I give him a thumbs up.
With like a heavy sigh, he looks back to the rest of you and just does a scan, like, let's get this done.
Right.
He looks over to Tony, and you see him make a kind of praying gesture towards her with a wink, since she's, weapon guard, and then heads with the guards down the left side hall to a door they open up that kind of opens into a descending spiral staircase down into the cliffside. So the crew that's going is Flint, Lucky, Will, and Brashear.
I thought I was staying back for watching the weapons.
I thought they were leaving the people that weren't here.
Yeah, the players that aren't here can guard that stuff, so it's up to you if you want to be part of the dialogue for the next part of that.
Yeah, that's totally up to Flint. If Flint wants to join us, because, equally as important things could potentially happen.
I don't know. I kind of want to have a discussion with the Chancellor about how stupid his ideas are, but I feel like
that's going to go real good right now.
Listen, all right, I don't really care.
Again,
I'll come back.
I'm just here to tell you how the world works. You tell me what you guys are doing.
I'll come back for this conversation, I swear.
So the four of you are heading down.
Yeah.
Okay. The guards guide you through a spiral staircase down into the cliffside. You can kind of hear some of the crashing waves carrying up through various air vents and windows. You come to a curved hallway that you don't actually stop at. There is another doorway across from where you just entered that opens into another set of spiral staircases. And you get the sense that you're kind of following the very steep grade of the cliff down. And as you come around the second set of stairs and start to pay more attention to the kind of cells that you're starting to see, it strikes you that the infrastructure of this place wasn't built to be a dungeon. Like, these are nice, well-tiled halls and well-lit, but all of the doorways into what looked like they were like guest rooms or different spaces for scribes or storage have been retrofitted with iron bar gates. So as you come down to the second tier, you come out into, there's like 3 cells, like retrofitted cells to your left, and then a set of 3 retrofitted cells like to your right. But that seems to be in between 2 different spiral staircases. Maybe the one you came down was the left side, and there's another one on the right. But the guards direct you down the right side, past the central trio, and as you walk by, you see 1 or 2 folks in just kind of sitting, looking out the window to what looks like a dismal gray oceanscape out their small, kind of thin, angled window. And they take you to the last set of 3 cells on this tier, and they stop in the middle, and the guard just points to the left as he's guiding you, and then kind of heads to the end of the hall and braces himself against the wall and just kind of lays back in a relaxed defensive posture. But you have been directed towards a cell that contains a bedraggled, dark-haired, kind of... Sorry, I need some water. Man, talking this long is hard. You reach a cell that looks into some tattered robes, a bit of frazzled, oily hair, but this kind of regal face peeks out as she looks up to you when you show up. And you catch 2 different sparks. One is in her eye when she starts to see your face, and the other is on her collar when you catch a weird construct that's been built. It's about an inch tall and wraps tightly around her throat, with a bright, like, blue-white gem in the center, in like a weird lock mechanism. But her eyes immediately catch to yours, and she turns and kind of dashes towards the door, and as she runs into it, there's this immediate, like, iron clash as her hands, which are still in iron clasps, very tight and crossbound, run into the bars of the door. But you watch as her eyes, which are wild, and you can't tell if they're excited or crazed, just stare into yours, and her mouth is just flying like a million miles an hour, and nothing's coming out.
I identify that stone.
On the I didn't want to interrupt your dialogue. As we are coming down, I wanted to make sure Lucky's paying attention if he spots any of those like mother of pearl inlays anywhere, trying to make mental note of where they are, as well as trying to reach out with just kind of an arcane sense to feel any dead zones between them, if there are any, to know like, hey, I could stand here and do something or anything like that.
Give me an arcana check. Will, she is just boring her eyeballs into yours. Like, there is 0 loss of focus, by the way. Lucky, you get 0 feedback. And I mean this in a positive angle. You get 0 feedback down here. You get the sense that they put up a specific barrier well before you were going to reach this space.
As in, like, there's going to be no magic cast down here at all. or is it just the device they're putting?
No,
on
there's
her?
going to be 0 defense against magic cast down here
Okay,
at all.
cool.
You do get a high immediate bead off of what she has wrapped around her neck.
I figured that's what's blocking. Now it looks like she's trying to talk and we can't hear her.
Yes.
Okay, I look at the guard and I'm like, we were told we could speak with her. We're not hearing anything she's saying. We can't speak to her.
He shrugs from the corner and goes, "You were told you could speak to her."
We asked to speak with her. We're not taking her out of here. We cannot have a dialogue.
Lucky, I don't think they're gonna budge on this one.
Come on, man. Like, you're here watching us. We have no weapons. They're just words. We need to speak to each other. We have questions for her. We can't get the answer.
I was told to carry you down here and keep an eye on you.
You send word for someone
If you
else.
start to get belligerent, you end up in another cell.
I understand that. I'm not being belligerent. I'm asking you, logically, how can you converse with somebody? We were told we can speak with her, not speak at her.
I don't know who I was leading you towards. I was just given a room.
Fine. I just turn towards her and I'm like, as quietly as I can for my guys to hear, I'm like, can one of y'all kind of block the view of me and him? Basically, I want me to block eyesight, where I can try to, and they're bars, correct?
Yeah, it's a barred cell.
Okay. And I'm going to stealthily try to pull out my lock picks.
One of the tall ones.
Or a
Brashear.
wide one, whatever works. To
Yeah, I'm
Brashear
sorry.
slides into place and leans against the wall.
Yeah, Will is like eyes are locked with this woman, trying to understand what she's saying, just like trying to read her lips, trying to like understand, like almost read her eyes and her expressions. And he's just kind of like in the moment, he's like tuned out.
Okay, so two things. One, does it appear, is there a lock right there that I could easily try to pick? And or does it appear that there's a lock mechanism that if I got her to lean down, I could reach in and undo the clasp on her?
You... I think since you're searching specifically, give me an investigation check on the door. How does your lockpicking work? Is that dexterity? Is that
yeah, thieves' tools. I have proficiency with thieves' tools, which uses my dexterity.
Okay, so dex plus proficiency.
Yeah.
Give me a stealth roll.
Sleight of hand, stealth.
Yeah, sleight of hand. Sorry.
Wait, it's stealth. That's all. Or
Okay.
It's the same bonus either direction.
Reroll. That was a 1.
Sweet. Not sweet. It was a 1. Sweet. I can re-roll it.
That was an 18.
Oh.
Uh-oh, who'd we lose?
Did you fix your computer?
No, that was just me disconnecting by accident.
Whoops. Okay. Okay, so you've got the stealth. No one's going to notice what you're doing.
You've got the
Give
stealth.
me a...
And preferably, I want to do all of them. I want to unlock the door and unlock her, but...
Well, give me a dex roll plus proficiency on the door.
For thieves' tools?
Yes.
Yeah, I've already got it coded in.
Then go for it.
If it's lower than an 11, it will be an 11 at least. If I think that'll help.
The base dice.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you burned your 11. You pushed it up above the DC. You did unlock the door. I want an Arcana roll and another Thieves' Tools roll for the collar.
Could I look over the gem and the collar or something to
There's my
help him out?
Arcana. And as I unlock that, I
Okay.
look at her if she knows what I'm doing, and I put my finger to my lips like shh, which I know she can't make noise, but it's still like be quiet. And then kind of like nod for her or motion for her to like lean down to me. So there was the Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
Be good to me. I'm out of portent dice.
I love watching it come in. I know you can't see it yet. I just got to tell you. You rolled over 20 for both.
Oh my god.
It's called lucky for a reason.
So here's what happens. Brashear slams his body up against the door in the direction of the guard that's just being belligerent and lazy at the end of the hall. Kind of flares his cape out a little bit, and just doing everything he can to be as distractionary as possible. He's giving kind of sidelong glances to Ariel. Will is just awestruck, looking into the eyes of this other person. Lucky, you are making fast friends with this woman you've never met before as you quickly pick the lock to her cell, reach in, convince her to lean down to you, quickly with a bit of kind of arcane understanding of what you're looking at, find a kind of hidden clasp to the side of the gem. Flint, do you want to roll me a quick intelligence check?
I mean, it could only hurt at this point, so absolutely.
I just so that I can tell you what you learned.
Mhm.
Nope, that's a 7, not a 1. You still don't learn much. It's not a gem you're familiar with.
Awesome.
It
Those
looks
are the best
kind of
kinds of
similar.
gems.
Kind of similar to something you've worked with before, but it's got this weird kind of flickering, like, white energy when you bend your head in ways that don't make sense for, like, facets of gems. But Lucky, you then find this kind of seam in the collar and fiddle some tools in, and it's like a weird back-angled lock that you... I mean, nobody looking at it would think there was actually a mechanism there, but you were lucky enough to find it, and the choker releases, comes away, and you hear her...
And I'm like, okay, we're getting out of here to the guys. I'm like, just follow my lead and block the vision of him. I'm like, please trust me. And I cast polymorph on her to turn her into a mouse.
Wait,
And I put her in my pocket.
You've got Ariel D'Alesso the mouse in your pocket.
Okay, I think we're done here. We can't have a conversation. Can you take us back up, guard? Like, and I'm like kind of whispering to the people. I'm like, just block the vision where he can't see in the cell.
I'm just gonna walk over like ahead of the guard.
Okay. How do you guys want to block his vision of... We are now in a skill check challenge, so I'm going to give you 2 different roles in the party to...
Will is going to stand with... Actually, you know what? Yeah, Will's going to stand with Brashear, and he's going to kind of do the same thing, because he's got his cloak. So he's going to kind of, like, you know, try and... He's going to almost, like, put his hands on his hips so that his cloak kind of flares out a little bit and is a little bit larger. You're gonna stare at this guard. And he's just gonna shake his head at this guard. He's
I
gonna
shake my
just
head
glare at
back
him.
and forth.
I amend slightly what I do. He's just leaning against the wall, right?
As far as I can tell, Will's leaning against the door.
The
No,
guard.
I'm standing.
Oh,
no,
yes.
Brashear's leaning.
The
Will is just
guard had
standing next to
his
Brashear.
arms crossed and was just leaning back against the door at the end of the hall.
And under my breath, I'm like, "Don't attack him. We need him to lead us up."
I'm gonna go up to him and I knew this was a waste of time. Let's just get me out of here.
Okay, so does anybody else want to do anything? I'm
Depends on the situation. Basically, what we're trying to see is like, come to us, get near us, and I'm sure he's gonna be like, want us in front of him. So he's like, go ahead and go. But like, as we start to move, just whatever to distract him to look at us and not glance into the cell.
yes. So far, I've got a roll from Will and I've got a roll from Flint
Will
that I
would
can
also
use.
Will would also like to. He'd like to prepare an action.
Well, you get one. This is a skill check, so you get one roll.
For my skill
get
check,
one-
I'm going to use
Okay.
deception. Let me look here. Let me look at my skills.
So then, in that case, I kind of want to change it because I kept my dagger of silence on me because they didn't see me use it, and my cloak covers it, so they didn't know I had it. I would like to instead prepare to use it in case like the alarm is raised and I need to quickly silence him. Maybe not permanently, but at least for like 15 minutes.
Well, no, he's
That-
talking about
okay,
being a
well-
skill challenge. We have to pick a skill to use and how we're going to use it for a skill roll, not a
Yes,
so
you're basically trying to describe how you get him to leave the space without detecting that there is no longer a person in the cell.
Okay, I'm going to use sleight of hand. That when he gets there, if he tries to look, I'm going to like trip or no, I'm going to use like pull that pocket sausage and like, hey, I'm trying to distract him visually to look towards me. Is what I'm going to use. I'll just use sleight of hand to do so if that sounds like it would work.
Okay, so Will, you told me before you were just trying to puff up and flare the coat out to try and cover the doorway.
Performance.
So I'm just trying to like stand next to Brashear. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
It's gonna walk.
So I'm gonna have you roll me an athletics check, and I'm gonna have Lucky roll me a sleight of hand check. And then Flint, roll me a deception check. Will, you had a really hard time puffing yourself up to block the door. But between Lucky's very convincing sausage taunting, there's so many.
This chat's just like, did he actually just say he's pulling out his pocket sausage?
Yes.
It's not a euphemism, it's actually sausage.
Between Lucky's pocket sausage and then Flint's just misdirection of just fucking get me out of here, man, which kind of clicked with this guy's demeanor in general, you do keep him from analyzing that cell quite so much, and the party strolls back up that stairway with the crashing of the waves way down below echoing through some of the windows. The damp stone guiding you back up through the lower tiers of the manor, and you pass back out next to the side of the Chancellor. None the wiser to...
Thank you very much for the time you've allowed us. Appreciate your hospitality and grace.
Leave, don't come back.
Tell everybody else, I'm like, get your shit and let's go now.
All right. Yeah, everyone
No
I
problems,
control.
just go.
Yeah, everyone that I control grabs their shit and makes to leave.
Before we make it all the way out, and we're standing by the table,
I attack him.
I'm just waiting to hear how this sentence ends.
I'm gonna walk over to Lucky. I'm gonna be like, so these pearl stones gonna mess anything up?
They're going to prevent us from using magic. We just need to we got what we came for. Let's get the fuck out of here. This is another issue for another day.
It's not gonna dispel anything. It's not gonna make fireballs stop in the air or anything.
Lucky, roll me a quick intelligence check.
Man, where's
Intelligence
Apples?
or Arcana?
What's higher?
I'll get proficiency bonus with Arcana.
The roll Arcana. You can't walk that mouse out through this room.
Okay, I'm like...
She's gonna pop back into human.
Right. So I'm like, break them as we go. They have to be broken.
I mean, what?
Or wait. Okay, hang on. Can we back up? I'm
retconning you back to downstairs.
Yeah, but would I have known this beforehand?
That's what your role was for. I didn't think about the fact that your polymorph is
right. Would Lucky have been smart enough to think of that when I wasn't?
Based on your role,
I've literally been thinking about this the entire time since you turned her into a mouse.
You polymorphed her into your pocket, but as soon as you get upstairs, knowing there are anti-magic shells in place, she's gonna pop right out of your pocket.
You said there's windows looking out across the ocean, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so before we start the whole, hey, don't look in the cell thing, I'm like, keep talking to her. I'm going to walk to a window, and I'm going to mentally think for Apples to come to where I'm at.
Okay.
And I'm going to put the mouse up on the window, and as I whispered, I'm like, trust it, the owl won't hurt you. And I'm going to have Apples carry her away.
Okay. No, you just have 1,000,001 solutions in your pockets, whether it's sausages or otherwise. All right, yeah. Apples comes down. You get a little sense of panic from the mouse that you've created, but it gives you a squeaking little like, and then Apples kind of gently clasps it and looks to you a couple times like, nope, okay. And then flies off from basically disappears from your view out the window.
So, now that we kind of, you see the everything rewind backwards, now we continue and go on.
Yep. Okay. You continue through the hallway, you gather your items. No human pops out of your pocket. The guards give you a very cold and uncaring stare as you shuffle out of the manor. The doors close quickly with a slam behind you. Blaskin is very unintelligibly muttering sentences to himself that no one can quite catch, and he will tell me about later when he listens to this session. And
we get our shit, head out of town. I'm telling Apples to fly as high as possible. I don't want him running into some other magic field somewhere till we get outside of town.
Before we get out of town, can we possibly make sure that she has everything that she needs? Maybe didn't leave any magical weapons behind or anything like that.
I think our lives are the most important part to get out of here.
Yeah, you
No,
think, but we definitely came for a reason, and I think there might be a
we
part
we can't
attached.
we can't leave without her staff.
Okay, well, we can't do anything till we talk to her and find out what and where, and we need to get her to safety and us not be caught at the same time. We need to leave town for the moment.
I mean, can't we just go back to the inn?
They won't. Yeah, they won't let us back into town. Let's go to the inn.
Do we know was the inn safe? Let's check the inn first if there's any anti-magic shit around there.
Yeah, let's go to the inn. Let's
I'll
test
just
it
keep
out.
having apples. Say we've got an hour till my spell ends.
Yeah, here. Let's like test out some magic along the
So-
way.
Lucky, I'll give you this for free. Remember when you guys were chatting with the bard and she cast some illusion magic right in front of you?
Okay, so that area is safe. Okay, then we'll go. Do we have rooms there? Don't we?
Yeah, we have a couple.
And yeah, you got some extra perks yourself, Lucky.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
I think Will had a room all to himself. Yes.
Yeah, the innkeeper got the special pocket sausage. That is a euphemism.
She got the euphemism sausage. Oh.
Lucky has the any port in a storm perk.
Oh God. How do I
Okay,
delete these
We
words on
go
my
there.
so you guys meet back up at the inn. Apples flaps back in through the upstairs window to Will's room to continue Will's perception on how this whole arrangement works.
Yeah,
Of course
listen,
he comes back
she
to
can
you.
polymorph back. She can polymorph back. Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about the perception of me having a room all to myself. I was like, listen, she can pop back into human form here, but she has to sleep somewhere else. This is exclusively a will only zone.
We don't know how much time we'll have before they may discover she's gone. Also, and then we'll be hunted.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we need to be
move
fast.
quick.
I have an even better idea.
All
I
right,
suggest we rise up against this magic communism.
dude, I love it. Will is in.
Yeah, considering like the majority of this party is magic based, this is going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Listen, dude, did you not see the guard's ass that I kicked?
Tear down the pearl stones of oppression and let the magic users rise up.
Let the magic flow freely.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I want to wait just a few. If it seems like the coast is clear, then I'll release my concentration on the spell.
So you guys all gather back in Will's room. That was Will and Lucky's room, but Lucky had other things going on. And Lucky, you release the polymorph on Ariel.
Is the bard still here, by the way? I'm just curious.
She was actually out when you guys rushed through the downstairs.
Okay.
You did not see her.
Okay.
But you quickly gather up in Will's room, and Lucky releases the polymorph. Ariel regains her full composure. Who pocketed the... I guess, Lucky, you pocketed the collar?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta add an item to your inventory. But she takes a couple more breaths and just looks across the group. Thank you. I have been there for too long. Oh,
Oh, let's greet the lady appropriately. Let's get her some warm welcomes and some food.
Pocket sausage?
why not? I would appreciate any sustenance. And she looks to you, Lucky. Fellow wizard, Many thanks.
Happy to help.
That
I'm just a
was,
traveling scholar. And I give her a wink.
Of course, as I should have been. Much is going on here. Sad. And she kind of reaches around, pats like her shoulder and her hip, and then, where's my gem? Where? This is not good. The Chancellor still has it.
Has what?
The amber gem. My staff.
Will looks at him and he gives him an "I told you" look.
All right, one step at a time.
Looking at
So-
Lucky?
Will's looking at Lucky, right?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was valuing her life more than an item. Sorry about that.
Apologies later. All right. So, how long do you figure we have before they get upset?
And do you have any idea where it may have been placed?
I've seen several items disappear down the hall to my right. From the cell I was in. There was an individual who was particularly interested in items of a magical nature.
Did he look like? And I start describing that other dickhead.
She nods quicker and quicker as you describe him. Yes. But he would come and ask questions occasionally. I wouldn't respond, but I think he hoped I would. Anyway, I think he kept some kind of a study at the end of the cell tier I was stored in. He's just acquiring items from people. Whoever shows up, he's like,
This is just a scam. This whole thing. You're just
as far as I can tell, yeah. And she, as you pipe up, she looks over to you, and there's this bizarre, like, rapid conflux of emotions in her face. And then she looks over to Bashir, and he just nods. Oh my God, William. And she just, like, scrambles over and grabs you in this intense, like, shuddering hug.
I hug her
Through your
back.
shoulder, you just hear, "I'm so sorry."
So, I have a question for what appears to be people that aren't me and Blaskin. Who is this man that everybody's so familiar with?
Will or Lucky?
What's the best way to describe him?
What's your relationship?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a bit hazy, but let me
Same
think.
for me. I'm like, I remember,
There
but
was-
not enough.
There was a dragon. There was a flower. Oh, that's right. I wanted to ask him before he ran away like a coward. I wanted to ask him if I could buy a flower of haste off him, but I didn't get a chance to ask him. Thanks, Tony. But long story short, we fought a dragon. I think I'm still not
It was, I
entirely
think, a
sure it
baby
was real.
dragon, wasn't it? It's-
Maybe I'm not entirely sure it was real, but we fought a dragon, and then and before that even happened, he just showed up out of nowhere. It was in like some like a dimensional space. Like wasn't he in like a building or something? Like we entered the building. The
Yeah,
building was like in the middle of nowhere.
he hosted you in a cabin in the middle of nothing.
You remember
Yeah,
what episode that
basically.
was?
Yeah, basically, we went into a cabin, but the cabin turned out to have like a dungeon. We fought a dragon, thus the name Dungeons and Dragons. I know it's great. It's gonna sell. Trust me. When we get back to the city, I'm gonna start writing a bunch of books about it. We're gonna sell a bunch of copies. It's gonna be a huge hit with
So
kids.
why
You can make
is
a game.
he afraid of you?
Oh, because we could totally kick his fucking ass, and he knows it.
So, do you want to? I don't really understand.
Yes, I want to kick his ass.
Well, you told me a minute ago you're trying to buy shit off of him.
Well, yeah, that doesn't mean I can't conduct a business transaction with him.
Lucky, could you clear things up? This man.
Listen, business and personal are
I've
two
had it
separate
with
things. Flint, it's not my fault that you're not professional enough to separate your business and your personal.
Lucky. Please.
So Bradley doesn't remember how it all went down precisely, but Lucky will relate to him what he knows and how it happened.
So Lucky interjects and just shoves a pocket sausage in Will's mouth. You guys on the internet can take that as you will.
It might be a euphemism.
Listen, Lucky's pocket sausages are delicious. Will happily eat it.
There's a sausage in your mouth. Don't take that any further. Lucky catches you up on this weird happening when they had first gotten together as a party, where they were leaving Tony's hometown, which is one of the first places they had landed out of Felix's bookshop, or Haversham's bookstore, the place where doors open to basically anywhere. They had come out into a city that Lucky was familiar with, at least in name. It was part of his world. And they had gone exploring, I think, to investigate whether there was some kind of monster afoot in the woods nearby. But on their way out, they had gotten this weird kind of itch in the back of their brains and suddenly found themselves transported to the interior of a cabin where, if you looked out the windows, there was just this weird alien plasma space of nothingness.
Ghostbusters.
But the interior made total sense until they turned around after meeting their kind of temporary captor to find a challenge room set before them with a dragon in it. He seemed to be interested in one of their particular party members that had since left the group, but was still just kind of relaxedly amused by their presence, and just said, I'm more curious about what your abilities are. So, go try this out. Thanks for coming. Here's some food if you want it. And cool. Just go forth and be adventurers. And they fought a kind of bizarre dragon that looked intimidating, but as they swung their weapons towards it, their weapons also grew to an intimidating level and quickly kind of slew it. There were also some elements around in the space where there was a flower growing out of one side of the room that slowed things down, and on the other side that gave them haste. But when they finished the combat encounter, they had some rewards in a locker at the end of the room, and then found themselves transported exactly back to where they had felt that first itch at the back of their brains, but they did have their loot. And that was the last they heard of this bizarre fellow. But he had paused at the end of the combat to kind of whisper different ideas into their brains. I think he mentioned something to Tony about Tony's younger sister, and something to the person who's no longer in this game about his brother. Maybe something to Will. I don't quite remember at this point, and that was pretty much it. But he was just
dank sword.
it was very kind of shifty, manipulative, like incredibly hard to pin down as far as personality or allegiance.
He's never like overtly threatening. He's just like, well, you can do this thing that I have created for you. Basically, like it's one of those.
Yes, the last time they met him, everything was on his terms. It wasn't necessarily hostile. It was more testing the waters, if you could put a fine term to it, and that was the end of their interaction.
All right.
And that's it in a nutshell.
Right.
Said Lucky.
Yeah. So.
You think I look at the girl, I'm like, and you think those items, your staff and the other stuff, are on that same level?
I would think so, yes. He always seemed to carry it. Anything. It's mundane items sometimes, but they all seemed to get. I was kind of close to one of the stairways, and I saw him continue and show up over and over. And they always went to the right. So, I mean, if that staff is anywhere based on his behavior, it's in his study on that same tier.
Is there? There's nothing that says this specifically in the rulebook that I remember. Is there any way while Apples was flying around, he can mentally give me like what he saw as the layout, like the level that we were on? How far is it above the ocean, or the? Is it, how accessible is it basically for us, or is it like, no, you're gonna have to fly there?
Um, can you roll a perception check for Apples?
Is it sight or hearing based?
Yeah, sight.
Cool, he gets advantage with that.
It's about 10 feet up the cliff wall behind this tavern from you.
And where the
If you
windows-
recall, this tavern is at the end of the downward spiral. Where that ends, you have sheer cliff face. Like, if you think of a DNA helix, you guys are like the stone of the cliff goes up the center down to the water, and you guys are at the end of one bend which cuts off. So the tavern you're in, like if you look out the window, you see cliff up and down, and up from your window you can like see out about like maybe 40 or 50 feet out, and then 10 feet up there are open windows from some of the cells.
Now, are they large enough for us to get in, or at least a person, or would they be smaller?
You would have to get close enough to check. They
I'll
don't
send
look.
Apples over there and I'll warg in.
They're about a foot across and 3 feet tall. So they're not quite arrow slits, but in a similar fashion.
But only about a foot wide.
Mm-hmm.
Am I small enough to fit through that, or am I too tubby? I figure I'm too fat. I'm a stout, and I like sausage.
There are members of your party that could shimmy their body weight through a foot wide by 2 foot tall space.
Who are those members?
Better start practicing.
Well, I can polymorph, but I can only do one person. Blaskin can animal shape. Or wild shape. Trying to figure a way to get the most of us in there as possible. We're not all going to be able to do it. And we're going to need to do it under cover of night. Will can walk up the wall, but if he can't get through the window...
So
Oh,
Will-
hang on. I may have... Oh, hang on. I may just come up with a solution. Let me read some stuff on my spell. Go ahead and do whatever you're talking about.
Who was the one who opened the hole in that wall back in Dunmoreau? Rather than opening a door, they just opened like a hole in the wall.
It was Blaskin.
Blotskin's he used a patch in his coat.
You think
No,
Blaskin?
he definitely cannot do that again.
Why not?
A limited time use type deal, possibly. Hypothetically speaking.
Will would like to ask Blaskin if you could get inside. Do you think you could do that again from the outside?
How about this?
Or
How about I change that window area into a door?
I cannot click on that for some reason.
Okay, I like the idea of a door. Much more accessible for me.
I convert raw materials into products of the same material. For example, you can fabricate a wooden bridge from a clump of trees or a rope from a patch of hemp and clothes from flax wood. Choose the raw material that you can see within range. You can fabricate a large or small object contained within a 10-foot cube or 8 connected 5-foot cubes. Given the sufficient quantity of raw material you are working with, metal, stone, or other material substance, however, the fabricated object can be no larger than medium, contained within a single 5-foot cube. The quality of the material created by the spell is commensurate with the quality of the raw material. So I should be able to just fabricate a door into like where her cell was. I already unlocked her cell door, so we should be able to get in through there. We just got to get up to it.
Are you refabricating the refined materials of the cell walls into a new door?
You said this was cliff facing.
Yes.
So that should just be raw stone.
Oh, I see you linked it in chat. All right, I'm going to send you a quick Discord question. Type.
Yeah, I have that, but there's a limit to the time. It's a 5-foot cube, and it has to be, I think it has to be loose. Let me look.
Okay. No, that's a fair point. I think I've actually seen that become a contested element in other situations. That makes sense.
Here, I'll link it. So how do you want to interpret it? Because
there
it's
it
one
is.
of the options
Sorry,
says if it's loose, I can excavate it.
Oh, wait,
But
hold on.
I should be able to change the shape, though. It says stone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I should be able to just make a 5-foot cube hole there.
I think so.
and it's a
Yeah, that's
cantrip, so
why
that
I
would
was
save you.
wondering. Like, yeah, okay. No, I think that's well within your wheelhouse. You've had that for a long time, so
And I could use the other to make us, since I can use, what did it say? How many cubes? 8 connected 5-foot cubes. I could make a ladder up to that window.
you
So just-
could out of your fabricate.
Yes.
Okay. So you're essentially proposing a convenient video gamey cliff ladder up to the window and then pushing the window out to normal human space.
Yep. Us go in. The door's already unlocked, and then we test our luck within. Now, how far below that is there? Is there ocean below us at that point, or is it just all rocky?
You can lean out the window for a second and check.
Yeah, I do so.
It's like 200 to 300 feet down.
But to the water.
It's sheer cliff down to very tumultuous crashing waves. It's
So-
not a happy landing.
But not guaranteed death.
Sure.
Okay. If we do this now, metagaming or just for player knowledge, I will be out of 4th level spells. But I don't know that we have time to rest.
Well, so
Wait a second, I think I got an item.
could we hypothetically just put her back for a little while and go up there
While I
later?
understand what you're saying, I don't know what kind of trauma this woman's been through and if she would even want to be in there again.
I'm not saying she's gonna be in there forever. She's just,
Hold on. Why are you saying we put her back?
Yeah, you know what? You know what? Flint brings up a good point. How about we go find another mind flayer? We go ahead and send him back over to Dunmoreau. It's okay. It's not going to be permanent. It's just going to be for a little while.
I don't think that's the same.
William, shut up for a minute. He got your point. Flint, right? I'm sorry. Why do you think she needs to go back in the cell? I'm pretty sure we're just trying to get through her location towards the staff.
I think he's trying to say it will buy us more time. If they see her in the cell, nothing's amiss, we have more time to search. However, we don't know that they may not pull her out now that interest has been shown in her and either move her or do something else.
Well,
I think
we
time's
always
against
have
us.
at least two different people that can watch over her.
You are a wizard, you said. Do you... I don't figure you've had time to rest enough and study. I could lend you my book, or what cantrips do you have to be of aid, if you even want to accompany us?
I have plenty of items to use in my spell book. Just the artifacts they used against me are quite draining.
I figured she'd be out of spell slots.
I need some time to regain my energy.
Tony, do you have some way you could help her? I basically asking, well, shit, she wouldn't have it made. I can't remember if she has catnap available or not, or if that was wizard. Oh, I thought it was priest. Let me look it up.
Catnap?
No, it's a spell. Basically, you can take a short rest. I think it is in a 10-minute window.
I gotta look this up. Oh my gosh. Oh, Xanathar's. Okay, I haven't read that one yet.
Well, I'm almost thinking that we can. I mean, chances are that they're going to notice that she is gone, and we're probably going to end up going in. We're either going to go in, sword swinging,
or we're gonna do some Mission Impossible shit and like sneak in.
I
So
say we
it's
do
just
Mission Impossible.
yeah. So I think that we should just do some Mission Impossible shit.
Oh, for the record, that's Bard, Sorcerer, and Wizard, so the cleric would not have it.
So it would be for me. I just don't have it yet.
Yep.
So the question is, do we wait, give her some time to recover?
Don't think we have a lot of time. What time of night or day is it right now?
Oh, you
How after
guys
nighttime?
strolled in the afternoon. Or not even in the afternoon, probably noonish. And then waltzed out and immediately booked haste down to the inn. So you're still looking at like 1 in the afternoon. People are,
Well,
are
then we
wide
can
awake
take an
and
8-hour
going about
rest
their.
right now. We can rest for 8 hours, and that puts it at what, 9 o'clock? We need to wait till dark anyway.
All right, let's do it.
I mean, do we have 8 hours if we don't put her back?
We'll make it 8 hours.
But the problem is, how are we going to get her back? It's during the middle of the day, going up a cliff face. This thing
The
we
same
very
way that
well may
you
be
put her
seen
back
doing
in.
this.
I mean, couldn't you just
I
put her
could,
back
yeah, I
in?
could polymorph her back and send her up there with apples.
We don't need to seal the collar on her. We just need to give her the collar.
Right. That too. I'm going to spend 10 minutes to identify this collar. I'm going to use ritual to cast identify to learn everything
Okay.
about it.
So the first thing that you guys realized when you reapparated her is that she no longer had manacles on her wrists. She had been bound in the cell. When you identify the collar, it is a silencing collar. So it prevents all vocal aspects of casting while equipped. It is also a cursed object that cannot be removed by the person who has it equipped, unless dispelled.
Does it have like an auto latching? Like if you put it on there, just like, hey, I just want to pretend that it automatically snaps closed. Because I would hate for like, hey, just pretend you're wearing it, and it's like snap. Oops, sorry.
If you attach it to a target, it binds and starts its effect.
So there's no way for her to pretend it's on. What kind of material is it made of? I am proficient in disguise kits. Is there anything around the room or we can get a hold of? I could make one that looks like it, but it's not the actual thing, or it's a pretend collar.
You would need to acquire some leather and then any kind of a gemstone that you could do your best to disguise as the what's the word I'm looking for? The enchanted stone that sits at the throat.
Leather's not a problem. We've got that from either bags, armor, whatever. What do we have? Gems available that we've gotten? I don't remember what all our treasure list is.
You know what?
Anybody have any?
Will happens to have. I expect to be compensated for this. By the way, Lucky. He says jokingly. By the way. I have an aquamarine gem.
He does.
I actually have 2, but you only need 1.
Well, hopefully it won't get lost. So, well, does that look like it would be close enough to attempt this?
Yeah, the previous stone that she had at her throat was kind of bluish.
Okay, so I'll try to start fashioning something together. Do I need a check to do it, or
Let's see. Crafting.
I've got disguise kit.
Dex or sleight of hand. Oh, disguise kit. Yeah.
So it's done. I just don't know how well it's done.
You know, it's pretty passable. I would say it's 1 over the DC passable.
If I was forced to describe it.
Like, if someone was running by and thought they saw a choker of silencing, that would look like it.
Cool. Now, is she okay with doing this?
She does get a chance to rest.
She can rest up in her cell.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. What about she's not wearing any shackles anymore, though? Are we going to fashion her a fake pair of shackles as well?
That or I unlocked the other ones. Didn't I?
You polymorphed her out of them.
Okay, I couldn't remember because you had me roll multiple checks. I don't remember what all they were for.
Right, so you were working on the door and
Right.
you were working on her
Well,
collar.
she could have the one, unless she is brought up there, she could just have them where she's laying facing the wall. And if it gets up, she could kind of like hold them somehow, trying to disguise it. Their chains there are between her hands.
You guys have a quick dialogue around
Yeah,
how
I
to
mean,
best...
did she even say if she's going to do it or not?
It's kind of cute. You guys are having this big dialogue about subterfuge, and Brashir and Ariel have this quick kind of almost code word conversation, talking about different ruses that they've played over the years. And there's some quick nods and some shrugs, and she just turns back to the group. All right. Got a good plan. Just make sure the collar looks like it's quality, and I can do the rest. Brashir comes around her shoulder. We've maybe done this 5 or 7 times before.
Nice.
If I don't know if she would need it or not. I've got a small knife and a vial of acid. If she can secure that about her person in case that's needed for something.
Well, the acid would maybe be fun, just in case.
Well, if at the very least, if something happened and you were manacled, if that wasn't found, you could use it to dissolve a lock or something.
Oh, and definitely, there's all kinds of definitions of fun. But she pats you on the shoulder and is happy to take that specific item.
Doesn't want the knife.
What was that?
Doesn't want the knife.
No, she's more interested in the acid,
Okay.
honestly.
And I go over anything I can if there's something that she thinks she may need, or if she wants to glance through my book or anything.
It's fun. She kind of just sits down cross-legged and looks through your spell book. More so to kind of critique you on some of the ways you store your particular notes in your spells. Some of them are like, oh, it's a much more efficient way to write that particular okay, and others where she's like, oh yeah, I remember that one. I collapsed that down into about 2 symbols, but it's fair. So you get a little bit of artistic back and forth from another industry veteran.
Okay. Well, if we look like we're done, I will polymorph her and send apples to drop her off.
So is the plan for anyone to follow her? Because you were talking about putting up the climbing wall to the window, right?
Right, but that needs to be done. I don't see that being something that, hey, let me go ahead and make this. And it's the fabricate is permanent. So if I just all of a sudden have a ladder going up to her window in a cliff face, that might be noticed. Or does it look, from what I could tell, is that something that's just like people walking by are going to notice that's not a flat wall anymore. There's a ladder there going to a window.
So it's the cliff is rounded, as is the rest of the general shape of the town and the local geography. It's kind of on a long, like, slow curve. Your ability to climb out and then up to her window would eventually get noticed, but it's not like a whole lot of people travel behind the tavern, which is built up to the edge of the cliff. There's various pieces of shrubbery and trees that kind of obscure some of that vision. I think at least one of them was planted by the tavern keeper to give a better view than just like a drop off to death and water. So whenever you cast this, you've got an easy couple of days before anyone like spends time looking out their window and goes, "Hey."
Okay, if it feels it safe, then I'll cast the Fabricate now. That way I can rest. Otherwise, I'm going to have to spend it to polymorph her to send up there. But
Okay.
if there's anybody else who wanted to go up there with her. Now, what about Blaskin? Wild shape, and he could stay a mouse because he should have another use. And I believe he gets those back on short rest. He could be up there with her, hidden.
Um.
Now, when I glanced in the room, did there look like there was anything? Because you said they used to be like more residence type stuff, not actual cells. Would there be
Yeah. So there's
places for
still
us to hide in there, like any kind of closets, other furniture?
it's pretty bare bones. It's nicely like paneled, but all of the furniture has been taken out. So it was previously, as far as you could guess, like guest rooms or storage rooms, but they were just the bare bones of putting up more than the interior stone. Not super recessed or detailed. The best you could hide in was some of the corners towards the door. Said the DM.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my spell list, see if there's anything else.
Okay.
What do y'all think?
Hmm.
Well, you could hide around the corner if they decided to come in the room. You're going to get noticed. Walking past the doorway, sure, that's an easy hide. Or do we want to wait to go in and cover of night and just leave her and maybe Blaskin alone? And I don't know, has Will noticed that, like, apples was key to this?
I
How
think.
the hell did that happen?
Well, I think a little bit, but not. He's probably somewhat distracted by all the goings on.
It won't be till later. It's like, wait a second, how did apples know to be there?
Well, remember, Saloon is responsible for sending apples to Will, and Saloon knows all. So
For those
it's all
watching,
Saloon's doing.
Apples is my familiar, but I've made Will think that it's a special pet to him, and so he thinks his god has sent it to him. That's my
Our
wife.
ranger thinks this owl follows him everywhere, while our wizard has summoned it from the beginning.
Yeah. Because as players, it's a great running gag, and for Will, Will doesn't see any reason why to question Saloon.
Oh, Will, I'm so sad you're not going to
Okay,
be here.
so
next
how
week.
do we want to do this? Let's get this rolling.
I mean,
What's the approach?
I'm all right with it. Flint's might be concerned about how this affects the people who live here, but I don't really think we could take care of that right now.
Problem for another day. So I'll fabricate a ladder up to the window.
Okay.
When people crawl up there, whoever's going, I can earth mold to let them in and then put it back. Who all's going though? Besides her.
I mean, the only one that can really go is Blaskin.
Well, everybody can fit in the room. It's just the hiding factor. We can stand away from the door, like beside it, again, like we were talking about. But if somebody was to come in, you're busted, and then it's a fight.
I don't think I want to do that. The only other thing I could figure is Apple's just hangs out.
Well, yeah, that's for a mental.
Brashear immediately steps forward. I'll go.
Will, do you have any kind of camouflaging spells or anything that last a long time?
The only one I have is the one that I can cast that affects people so long as they're within 30 feet of me.
Pass without trace.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
But-
large radius for stealthy parties.
But I do have this cloak that gives that gives assistance with stealth.
So basically,
If
you
you're-
can blend into the wall with that.
I can.
Now, how does arcanely? Do I know how that cloak functions? If it was hung up in front of the doorway,
Hang on a sec.
would it look?
Brandon. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go.
No, I was wondering, would it look like mimic since it helps blend in? Would it kind of mimic that there's bars there so we could hang the cloak up in front of the door?
I have to check his character sheet.
Probably not.
Let's
Okay,
see,
hey,
your
Brandon. Actually, I'll let you
Sure.
finish checking that first.
No, you can ask your question. I can.
So
read
my
at the
question
same time.
is actually let me read a note on something real quick just before I ask this question, so I get the measurements right.
AFK real quick.
Why isn't your cloak of Elvenkind in your inventory?
It is in my inventory.
It's not under C. Oh, yes, it is. Never mind. I can't read.
I know how to read, Brandon.
While you wear this cloak, I don't think it does anything while no one's wearing it.
Hang on, I gotta Google this because there's a spell, but okay, hang on. I'm reading.
Yeah. All of the
Learning.
details on this is about it being equipped. I think it's it requires attunement. Yeah, so it doesn't do anything for no one that's attuned to it. If you try to hang it as a mundane item in a space, it's just gonna be a cloak.
All right, I have another question. How far and specifically would it be within 500 feet her cell from the top of this cliff?
What's the rest of your question?
That is my question. It is the distance from her cell to the top of the cliff either up to or less than 500 feet?
What do you mean by the top of the cliff?
Like where we are now. Like if I were to go stand on the cliff, and then let's say I were to walk down the cliff and go to like where her cell was.
So the top of the cliff being like at the pinnacle of the manor?
I mean, I guess I'm just assuming
up
whatever's
or
directly above her. Yeah, I'm assuming whatever's like directly above her cell.
So from your vantage point in your tavern room, you can tell that the top of the cliff from the windows that look out to the sea is within 500 feet from the windows. So
Okay.
if you needed to fire anything from a window up to a bizarrely final cliff edge, that's within 500 feet by far.
But from
Okay.
our window at the basically where we're at to her room, that was only 100 foot or so, wasn't it?
Even less, honestly. It just
Where we're at
curves
right
around
now?
the cliff.
Yeah, like if we went out the back, like if we went out the window to the back of the cliff, because he's saying the end butts up against the cliff face. Her window where she was at is only like that between 50 and 100 foot away from us. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
why I
will
can make the
go-
ladder into the wall, and we can just go out and crawl up it.
You know what? I volunteer to stay with her and keep watch.
When we walk, can I recall, were these evenly spaced cells or rooms side by side? Were they all identical? Like, basically, if we got into her cell and I did earth mold into a room beside it, would it be better area to hide in the room beside her? That we were still nearby but not being searched actively.
Give me a quick intelligence check. Yeah, they were. So when you came to their specific tier of cells, it looked like they were cleanly um, three sets of cells around an arcing hallway, and the sets of three met at the same width between walls to the next cell. So for every set of three cells, there was a larger distance between them, maybe 15 to 30 feet. But then those specific rooms had the same, like maybe 2 foot wall gap, building those specific spaces. So there's lots of symmetry in the space, and there's a lot of wiggle room for you to use your intelligence to make maneuvering between them.
Were there anybody in the cells on either side of her?
In her cell, there was somebody to the left with the same pair of manacles on, and I don't think you noticed anyone to the right when you were there.
So we could possibly hide in the right cell. The other person that I did notice, did they have a collar on as well?
They did.
Possible another ally, but that could also risk them freaking out and making noise. You can wait in the other room. Let's go. From the window, I cast the fabricate to make the deal. Will give us
Okay.
some of that stealthiness.
All right. I can give us some of that stealthiness.
And when
So
the
whoever's going gets plus 10 to their stealth
I
rolls.
say, let's just all go. We're gonna go
Yep,
wait
let
in the
me-
next room.
Okay.
What?
Right. So Ariel is going to follow because she's going to deposit herself back in the cell that she came from. We'll leave the PTSD for another conversation.
Now Will's going to go ahead
And
and cast himself a second level stealth slot. Boom.
And I can't remember. The other NPC.
For sure.
Yes, thank you. God. I run out of words. I run out of words at 3 a.m. Brashear is also following right behind her.
I'll be as close as I need to open the window up.
Okay. So you and Will are kind of fighting for that third space because Will's holding the stealth spell and you need to make sure that the window opens as cleanly as possible.
I have to be within 30 foot of it.
As does Will have to be within 30 foot of any of his
Well, I
ability.
think he has a 30-foot radius, though, isn't it?
What's the difference?
Let me read the
Radius?
the
That means it's a
specifics.
60-foot diameter.
Yeah, let me just make sure. Let's see. Pass without
But that doesn't mean
trace.
he gets to be within 60 feet of it.
No, I don't
Like,
know.
if you need to be within 30 feet of your ability, then you guys are basically the epicenter of your own effects.
Yeah, so it says a veil of shadows. I'm gonna skip that part. Within 30 feet of you.
Okay.
So as long as within 30 feet of any direction.
Right. So it's
from me.
basically a 60-foot diameter. So I could be 30 foot, 29 foot in front of Will, benefit from it, and everybody else could be 29 foot behind him and benefit from it.
Oh, okay, I see.
So we don't have to be right on top of each other.
But
Yeah.
you're basically playing hopscotch anyway.
Yeah. So I just
little
have to be
bit,
within
yeah.
30 foot of the opening to make it open.
Okay. So you... Hold on, getting a message. All right, one sec. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, I bet the wifey needs some medicine.
No, she's probably like,
Hey guys,
it's 3 a.m. Go to bed.
you wanna help me out with the Chancellor? Would slap that collar of silence on him.
That's why I
Dude.
still have it, but we don't know that he can't cast
Will
spells, but it'll keep him shut up.
Will
Listen.
really wants just. Honestly, Will might need to see a therapist or something because he's been thinking about running his sword through that man's neck this whole time.
Listen, we're gonna have a very one-sided conversation with him.
Yep. We got to keep focused that this woman and however important this staff is, that's our main goal. We can always
Listen.
come back another day to deal with the town.
Listen, you worry about that.
It's a worry for all of us.
Is
we
it though?
Yeah, because we function better as a team. When two of you run off with bloodlust, wanting to kill somebody where the rest of us are trying to get out,
I'm not killing anybody. Out of anybody in this group, I am the least likely to kill anybody purposefully.
and there were other prisoners in there, we need to get those people out too.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna guess most of the people don't deserve to be in there. If I had to guess. I sneezed and I made magic. Oops. Off to the jails with you. Magic communism. That's where it's at.
Yeah, brought all kinds of
only
gears
problem-
in that place.
The only real problem I have with trying to help these people out is that we would have to be in a constant disguise because this town's not very big, and I don't think there's a whole lot of people that actually feel the way we feel about it because most of them don't use magic.
Yeah, but how many of them know just the regular townsfolk what any specific individual in here looks like? And I can do my best for disguising them to get out of here. I am proficient with disguise kit. You grow up on the streets, you learn how to do stuff.
Rub dirt in your eyes.
And how to give people your pocket sausage.
Just from kindness. Back.
Okay, I'm back. What's up?
We
Welcome
missed you.
back.
We're just discussing how they want to kill the Chancellor, and I'm like,
What?
we got other stuff to get out of here.
Nobody said anything about killing him, first of all.
Will was talking about putting a sword through his neck, so that's kind of
He
killing.
said Will was thinking about it. Alright?
Yeah.
You're taking this way too far.
Yeah, Will wants to cut this man down.
Will was just thinking about it. Will, just shut the fuck up. Will was just thinking about it, okay? He didn't say he was gonna do anything.
You're not allowed to actually do it.
Listen, if Will is presented the perfect opportunity in which to commit such an act, he may take that opportunity.
Okay.
He doesn't know yet.
Okay, so what? Any rolls we need to make, or
Yeah. Sorry, where do we leave off?
We're
You made the clean cliff crawl, Uncharted style path to the cell, and then opened the way into it. So far, you've got Ariel, who is going to remain the bait in that space. Brashear and Will. Who else is ready to follow?
I think we're all going, and then we're going. I'm going to open another
Don't think
hole.
I should go.
Do what?
I definitely don't think I should go
Why?
because I'm wearing plate.
So is Brashear.
Will's casting an additional stealth roll.
Yeah, you're going to get +10 to your stealth check.
Okay,
Yeah.
at disadvantage.
Okay, before we go, is there any way we can sit there and like, because he doesn't need to be necessarily combat efficient right now, to like stuff padding or something in between joints, enough that he can move to crawl or climb the ladder, but not to try to deaden the sound. Or how does your dagger? Doesn't that make things quiet?
It does. I can use the dagger. It has charges, so I can only use it a couple of times. But I can create a sphere of silence.
Well, there you go. We don't have to deaden with padding. Just make it quiet.
Yeah, I can just stab this knife into you.
You have to stab it into something.
I need to actually use the knife to activate it.
Does it have to go into living flesh?
Hang on a sec. Let me read this knife real quick. Let me just. Let's see. So it says when this weapon is thrown, you can expend one charge and choose to activate its silencing ability. When the dagger lands, it creates a 15-foot radius sphere of silence that stays centered on the dagger and lasts for 10 minutes.
Can you throw it into the
So,
ground?
yeah, I can throw it into the ground. I can basically, whenever it lands. So I could, like, throw it into, like, if he wanted to, I guess, carry, like, if I could throw it into something that he could then carry.
But it didn't say that you couldn't pick it back up, did it?
I don't know. I feel like that. Let me see if it says anything about that canceling it.
Brandon shaking his head no.
No? Okay.
Okay, well, just let me get my spell off first, or I won't be able to do it.
Yeah. I'll just do a thing where I'm like, oh, sphere of silence, and I'll just, like, very lamely toss it. It'll go, like, 1 foot and then just go flop down into the ground.
We just have to have Flint be the last one to wait. Get up, cast the opening, then I'll give you the thumbs up. You can silence everything else, and then we go on up. Or the rest of you come on up.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think everyone get off their spells. I get my spell off. Lucky gets his off, and then
I just don't know how we're all gonna hide in here.
No, we're not in one room. We're going to go to another room.
Yes. The room nobody goes to, right?
exactly.
Well, no one's in there, so they shouldn't have a need to look in there. We just have to stay away from the door.
Right. A room that might not have anybody. Or have we confirmed that it has nobody?
Oh, I can confirm
I mean,
with
at-
apples. If there's a window there, I can have him peek in and look.
I mean, at this point, if we're already making the effort to break in, shouldn't we just say fuck it and go ahead and break into the dude's study? Like, why are we going to break in and wait?
We wanted to get a long rest in. To wait till it was dark.
Yeah, so she could be rested and maybe have some extra oomph to help us.
I'm just saying, I feel like it would be more worthwhile. Like, if they come looking for her within those 8 hours, then, you know, that's going to disturb her. It's almost like it'd be better if they thought she was gone and then they spread out searching for her in the city, and there were less people at the manor, less people there because they're all busy searching for her.
Okay, well, what are we doing? We've been spending like quite a bit of time here trying to come up with a plan. Do something. Or she can stay in there while we go and search for the rest. If we find her staff within 5 minutes, then we just get the hell right back out.
Yeah, why don't we do that? We'll put her in the cell. We'll go into the room. She'll be like decoy sort of, and then we will find her staff, and we'll bust out,
Cast
free her
GTFO.
again. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
But again, if the Chancellor, if I get the opportunity,
Okay, we'll
he
cross
is
that
getting
path when we get
stabbed.
there. Okay, so we go up, we go in. Does the coast look clear?
You are placing her back as kind of a decoy, right? Like
If need
holding
be,
her
yes.
space. Okay. Looking at your athletics checks across. Oh, but you were casting Fabricate, so you could have made this easier anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
So I made ladders. Will's
So
got us
DC
concealed and silenced.
Yeah. Plus, I can
1,
just walk up the side
2.
of this cliff anyways.
So you think. Oh, Flint, you got a crit. You helped. You helped Blaskin climb across the cliff.
Oh, neat. We're bros. We're getting tight.
He's struggling through some stuff right now. He's combing his hair black and low over an eye.
Oh God, does he look like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3?
We can't let him get to that stage. He's
We'll have to
gone.
kill him if that happens.
Okay. You guys do manage to clamber up across the cliff face with a bit of depth below you and a much more conveniently open window in front of you. You move through the space quickly. The door is still unlocked, so you are able to open it as you need. Ariel kind of resumes her posture in the corner of the space with a bit of chagrin. But you... Let's see. That's a plus 10 for... If she's staying in, then party sheet... Let's switch that to stealth. Hey Flint, good news. You dropped an 18, but your 10 gets a plus 10.
I still don't believe that's good news. We've yet to see what the guards do.
It's 26, 29, 20, 37 Will, and 31
sneaky.
Tony.
Wow.
No,
Why is Tony so sneaky?
You go ask her. She's your girlfriend. Yeah, you all quickly dive down the right side of the hallway. There is a pair of footsteps coming down a spiral staircase that kind of stops most of the way, and you guys all get this cool movie moment where everyone goes and holds to like the corners of the walls and breathes really shallowly. And the person coming down the stairs, you hear this. I didn't really need to go down there. Why do I talk to myself? Anyway, going upstairs. And then they move out of the way. And then you move down the hallway to the right, where you were directed towards the collective, or the collection point for whatever ruse is going on with Uldren and this whole scenario.
Oh, and his name is
who's-
Uldren too? I forgot about that. What a bitch. Uldren's, anyone who's played Destiny here, Uldren is one of the characters in Destiny, and he's a total little whiny bitch too.
He is?
Yeah.
I thought I came up with that name. Wow.
Uldren Sov. Yeah, he's a Destiny character.
Okay.
Darn those combinations of vowels and consonants.
I know, right?
Here I thought I was creative.
Yeah, funny enough, he turns into a whiny bitch because his sister, I guess she dies, and then he gets tricked by a worm god.
Does the door appear to be locked?
If you try it physically, yes, it does resist opening.
I want to also, if I can use Arcana or something like that to see, find out if it's warded in any way.
Ooh, I have to look something up really quick. Go ahead and roll your Arcana check. Are you casting Detect Magic?
No, I'm just saying, can I use my Arcana to find out, okay, hey, there's a ward here, and I can spend 10 minutes to
Okay.
cast Detect Magics, because I've got 10 minutes on that, so that will help if there's any kind of magical that I can see. So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's your call. If you want to do a quick check, you can roll an Arcana check. If you want to cast Detect Magic, I can
I'll
also
just
tell
say
you
before we
what
headed
you
out
get.
there, I would have cast Detect Magic before we left the cell. Or I'd have done a
Fair
ritual
enough.
real quick while we're kind of
Fair enough.
listening, any patrol patterns and stuff like that.
You do detect a whiff of abjuration against the lock.
I cast a spell magic on it.
Okay.
Or do I know? Do I know if I do? If anything happens to this, will it be an alert? Anything be alerted? I'm trying to figure out anything I can.
You push a little more into your introspection for this. It was more of the energy you get back off of your push into catching those arcane tastes tells you that this was a very lightweight abjuration. It's more like, hey, if someone shows up with magic, just let's give them something that pushes back. Maybe they'll look at it and go, nah, never mind.
It's
Nah,
not
they
an
never
alarm.
met Lucky then.
I just want to
Sorry,
make
I
sure it's
need-
not any kind of alarm that goes off to alert if this is touched or jacked with or dispelled or anything. If I can discern
no,
such.
it's not specific to the alarm spell. You feel like it was more of a defensive, directional magic.
But only against people that cast spells or anyone.
No, to the outside of the door.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I cast a spell magic. If it's third level or lower, then it's automatic.
You push out that dispel magic element and target the tumbler and the wow, what's the word for the thing you turn in your hand?
Key?
No, the
The knob? The door
yes,
handle?
knob. Oh my god, I could not
You are
remember
a
knob.
Oh my god.
you push your energy out toward the knob and the tumbler, and everything kind of silences arcanically, and the door just cracks a little bit, just the slightest bit into the room. Just
How long does your silence last, Will?
On the dagger?
Yeah.
Let me check. I think it was 15 minutes? 10 minutes.
Okay, then it's already gone.
Mhm.
Okay.
gone
If
from
it's still
what?
going, I would have told you to move back, so I could have done that and then waved you forward. But it's
What did he use it for?
to help us when we were for Flint's armor, so he wasn't clanging as he's climbing the ladders.
Oh, okay, I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, granted, I could have used it again because it has multiple charges. It says
We may
this
need it
weapon
later.
carries 2 charges and regains them both at the start of each day.
So you've used one, so we may need the other for an escape. Save it. Okay, so is the room dark or?
The room you just unlocked is currently dark.
Okay. Open the door for any kind of ambient light enough. Is there any kind of candles or anything in here? A torch, and a sconce?
There are 2 windows open to the ocean space, again, along that curve of the cliff wall. The same small kind of arrow slit windows that cast a pallid light across a downstairs to what looks like there has been a upstairs kind of man, I'm running out of words tonight. Oh no. If you build a
Do charades? What do you mean? Sounds like.
when loft, that was it. So the downstairs has an upstairs loft built into the same open space to the cavern. It was a taller room in general. So as you sneak around, there is a small kind of cereal or wheat-based bed space with a simple pillow. Downstairs, under the loft, there are several tables with different items placed along them and little notepads scrawled. It looks like a very hastily built research station.
I've got 10 minutes on my detect magic eyes. Do I if anything glowing in here?
Oh my god. More items than I am ready to tell you about in this session, but
Grab them all and we leave.
what was that?
Where's the
So we
Where's the
grab 'em
sword
all
of
and
Chancellor
leave.
killing? I want that sword.
I gotta go back to Bradley.
Do we see her staff first off? And I'm going through the notes real quick as I'm looking through stuff.
Okay, so there's lots of notes spread across the table. Some are tied, like, smacked down next to specific items. And I will definitely give you guys some notes on the items in this room because I think we're wrapping up rapidly at 3:18 Pacific.
Are you
Shit,
sure you're
yeah,
not
it's
ready
5
for another
o'clock here.
5 hours?
That's why you're losing your words. You're barely conscious.
I can't believe you guys are still here, honestly.
We're still showing
but-
22 people in the channel too.
Wow, internet, hi. You're still.
People are awesome.
You guys are
And one of them isn't even me.
You guys are the night shift.
You poor
Thanks for
bastards.
showing up. So yeah, there are several items that I will put notes together for when we come back to this next time. But you do come across a very dilapidated looking staff, like ancient lines worn into like a redwood tree's worth of deep veins, cut into a spiraling staff of red and black, but it comes in a more rapidly spiraling structure toward the head of a very impressive ovaloid amber gem that's maybe a foot long and houses just these beautiful cracks and crackles of white, intense energy. Like, if you look at it and look away, you get those same kind of sunburn elements to your eyes.
After image.
There's just this constant light coming from those little details in the amber. And there's small little juts of stems and twigs kind of starting to wrap around it, but they haven't gotten there so far. So they're mostly jutting from the lower end. And the note that sits next to it, it's just laying across the table. The only things written on it are, can't pierce the energy of this one, must bring back to sigil.
Will's going to go ahead and grab this staff and make sure that while we are investigating that it does not somehow mysteriously vanish.
The C4 goes off.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that scene from Indiana Jones where he like weighs the bag of sand before he grabs the fucking idol.
TPK.
I don't know if you want to wait for this for next time because your time's running short, but it's like, fuck, I gotta rest. Damn it, never mind, I can't do it. I need my 4th level spell.
Yep. Yeah, no, Will is for sure holding on to it. He's grabbing the staff now before anyone can come in here and like bust us and like get in the way.
What's up, Lucky?
Well, I can't do it. I had to use my. That's part of the reason I wanted to rest, so I'd have my 4th levels. You remember that expensive chest I had made?
Yeah.
So I can whisk shit away.
I mean, we have a bag of holding.
We have a bag of holding that works too, but that's the whole or this is one of the reasons I wanted something like that Lehman's secret chest.
You guys have a couple options there, but yeah.
If they'll fit in a bag of holding, that works there. That's an in and out quick. If not, I need to rest.
Yeah, throw everything in the bag of holding except the staff. The staff is.
Thump, thump, thump.
I don't trust this staff
Are
to
there
not
any
somehow
spell
vanish.
books or anything in the area? I'm searching the rest of the room too. If there's any spell books, scrolls.
Okay, so
Anything that
you
glows.
acquire, and let me write this down as I say it because I need to make sure I don't forget. You acquire 1 spellbook and 3 arcane items.
Okay, and I assume you're gonna tell us about those arcane items next time
Yes.
Dragon Ball P.
at the Shale Point Manor.
Next time on D&D.
But you did acquire Ariel's staff.
Bitchin'.
So you have to get out with it. But since we can't meet with you next week, and man, I'm so torn. I want to have
We're
a
gonna have-
fun Halloween session.
Yeah, we're gonna have 2 because Emily's gonna be with me. So
Yeah,
Saturday, next Saturday,
Next Saturday's the
unfortunately.
24th, and then we got Halloween after that.
What if we rescheduled? Or like, how's everyone? I guess we need to get Scott in here too. But how's everyone looking? Like, if we were to reschedule to be able to do it on a different day?
Like next week? Like a Friday or a Sunday?
No, I couldn't do that either because I'm still moving. I still got too much shit that I'm doing.
Now, if it's during
Fair.
the week, I can play from
I
like
can.
9 to midnight. That would be
Well-
it.
Well, I
Central.
was thinking about not next weekend, but the following weekend.
That's Halloween.
Because I don't know if we wanted to do if we wanted to maybe try and do we could try and cram in 2. We could do a Friday and a Saturday if we wanted to do a fun Halloween like Grimdark.
I could try and take a Friday off to play our session, and then we could do the Grimdark the next day.
Or we can just do normal scheduled and just not worry about doing a Halloween thing. I'm easy. Either
It's
way.
up to you guys.
We can discuss it throughout the
Uh,
week. That's what Discord's for.
Okay. Hey, Bradley, are you good
Oh,
to
yeah,
try
Bradley
and
has a
run our
Friday thing, doesn't
Grimdark next week?
Yeah, I can throw something together.
Ooh, yeah. What about an early? Just switch Halloween and Grimdark. So do a
Well-
week early.
I was gonna say you and Emily are out next week, right?
That is correct.
So the rest of us and
That would be perfect.
potentially Scott can play Grimdark.
Yeah, I mean, y'all
And
left
then-
off. There's stuff that y'all hadn't done yet, so I can run next weekend.
Look at us putting all our brains together. We're like a hive mind, figuring shit out.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I want to thank everybody that joined in the raid tonight and stopped in and out. That y'all are badass, sticking with us this long.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you, everyone.